Hey, you guys, it's your girl, Ebony Nicole, the Vice President of the Rochester Black Authors Association, and we are here for another Black Authors Rock podcast. As always, you know I get excited when I get to chat with authors, but I am really, really excited because I believe this man is the first man in this season.
What?
Really? I believe so.
Good
Wait, I
enough.
think you are the first man. So welcome to First Man.
Thank you. Thank you.
As always, you guys, make sure you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and connect with us on Spotify as well as YouTube. And I'll let you know how to do all that at the end. So, right when we get into it, let's hop into it and talk to author LaGuan. Tell us you already know who you are, but tell us where you're from and a little bit about you.
Well, thank you for having me. Humbled, flattered. The name is LaGuan Rodgers. I hail from Buffalo, New York. So I'm Western New York native. Some ties to the Pacific Northwest, but Buffalo is the home base. And I am the author of two books, but the book that we're going to concentrate mostly on today is my first children's book. Sorry for the glare, but it's called Somebody Else.
Awesome.
So a random somebody here to talk about somebody else. So let's do it.
So you are just a hop, skip, and a jump away from us over here in Rochester. So this is when I saw your intake form, I was like, Buffalo, we cousins.
Right. Yeah, we connected.
So you're right, like we're cousins. We're just I absolutely love it because I've been able to talk to people all over the country. So to talk to someone this close is always a good thing. So tell us about how did you become an author? What prompted you to write your first book?
It goes back to being a kid in elementary school. You know, I pride myself on being an 80s kid.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of like the zenith of hip hop. And it really started out writing rhymes with my friends, you know, on the bus, in the lunchroom, in the hallways, and, you know, just writing rhymes and battling other kids in school. So I always had a passion for words and how they connect and how you can create words and imagery with what you're putting down on paper. You know, I actually had aspirations of being a scientist and coming out of high school, but some kind of way I got led to creative writing, journalism, and broadcasting, and you know, like that love for words and being able to connect with people through the written medium was something that stayed with me for years. So really my first book, which is called While Waiting, was really like my reflections and my thoughts. I'm a former mail carrier for the United States Postal Service. And my first book was really kind of like my journal that I made public. So there's a lot of things that I had thought about while delivering mail, things that I had saw, things that I had felt, things about love, relationships, world affairs. So really, it really was just like this tickling of the soul, this undying kind of like nudge within to kind of just, you know, just kind of always having that nudge within to connect and build relationships through the written words. So that's kind of like where I got like my first inkling to say, you know what, let me put my name on a cover and give people some content. So it's all about, you know, that's how it came to be.
I just want to say, when you said that you found your love of words when you were in school with music, just writing lyrics.
Right.
Like I would have never thought lyrics would turn into a passion for love. Well, actually, yeah, because you would have to love words if you are a lyricist. You got to have a love, especially wordplay. So that does make sense. Wow. That's actually interesting. So once you had written your book, you decided I'm going to go ahead and publish it. What was it like when you finally got it done?
It would obviously it's gratifying because you see something tangible that you can hold, that you can pass on to people, that you can gab about, that you can talk to others about. but it really was, you know, almost like, yeah, this was supposed to happen. You know, yeah, this is a step that I'm taking to realize something that I have really kind of imagined and visioned for years prior. So it's really just almost like, I hate to use it, but almost like a rite of passage, you know,
Mm.
a coming to be. So it was just, you know,
Releasing the book was a coming up, like a passage for you. In what manner?
um, just because I felt like it was long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
Something like you said, it's almost like when you try to get away from something, or maybe try a new phase of your life, it's always something, someone, or some event that pulls you back
Yeah.
to where you're supposed to be, where your passion, where you feel whole, where you feel
Mm-hmm.
most connected, where you feel as if you're giving your best contribution to society and those around you. You know, I use a
Wow.
term, I use a term on my Instagram page as a hashtag that I use a lot, called create to relate. Um,
Mm.
so you know, you creating something to once again foster and build relationships with the people around you and hopefully abroad. So
Oh, that's what's up. I like that. You can get that on a t-shirt. I'm all
yeah,
for
yeah.
entrepreneurs. I'm telling you, I'm all for doing stuff beyond the book, okay? Because that's what
I'm a
we're
t-shirt,
celebrating
I'm a
this
t-shirt
is.
geek.
Like for real, for real.
I'm a
So
t-shirt geek.
get that on a shirt and
Right,
then have your name underneath it.
right. Now I'm
Yeah.
on to that. Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you say that because I am a t-shirt addict, aficionado, connoisseur,
Yeah.
whatever noun you want to take attached to a t-shirt, that's me. Like I'm a junkie. So I've definitely been thinking of, especially as we move towards summer,
Yeah.
and I'll have more time to kind of expound on some ideas. That's one thing that is in the works. So
And you
you
should,
gave me
because
confirmation.
when you do, let me know. Tag us in your
Right.
tag us on Instagram and I'll grab me one because I love t-shirts. Like they're
Yeah,
my
no doubt.
go-to.
No,
Like I
no doubt.
like we have this thing here, a little sidebar, but we have clean sweep here in the city of Rochester. And every time I still got all my t-shirts and wear them. I have a
Right, no
t-shirt from
doubt.
2018 that I wear. I'll just throw on a pair of jeans and my clean sweep shirt because I like it. So I
Ah, you could tell a
just
lot about a
my
person about a t-shirt, the type of
really
t-shirts that they buy. Oh yeah, oh yeah. For me,
I
a
like t-shirt with a bunch
t-shirt
of
is a way of life.
words.
It's a way of life for me. So it taps into my mood. It taps into a message that I'm trying to convey. It taps into an era. Like I said, you know, 80s kids, like got Transformers, Thundercats,
Yep.
G.I. Joe. You know, it's really not about the cartoon. It's about an era. It's about a
Yeah.
sense of nostalgia. So you every time we wear something, that's almost like you're a walking billboard, an
Yep.
advertisement for something, you know. For
Absolutely.
that could be good and bad. So
You can.
yeah,
It can be like, okay, why are you advertising
right,
randomly Newport cigarettes on your shirt?
right,
Well,
right, right.
but for me, I'm all about words. I like t-shirts with words on them, not so much as pictures and things like that, which is okay. But I'm a word girl. I like words. I
No,
like
I dig
graphical
that. I
words.
dig that for sure. For sure.
So, what is one thing that you are currently working on that is taking you beyond just being an author? Because that's what we're celebrating this year is the authorpreneur, which is someone who you've written a book and now you've built your platform, you're doing other things. So, what else has writing your book? What doors has it opened for you?
Um, right now, if I could kind of isolate something right now, I would say
Mhm.
like more speaking engagements.
Okay.
Being able to actually go into like schools
Yeah.
and have like a audience, whether that be teachers, faculty, stakeholders, and most importantly, students.
Yeah.
So that's something that's been very gratifying and you know, something I'm very proud of and get excited about. So my calendar been filling up with speaking engagements where I can really interact and hopefully enrich like younger audiences.
Yeah.
Like you said, I got some, you know, some t-shirt company aspirations, so that's something I want to tap into. Um, I've been talking with various people in my circle about possibly opening up like a custom greeting card company. Um, with some of my words as the inside message to those cards. So
Mhm.
um
Do
I
it.
currently, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's not a matter of if, it's all about when,
Yeah.
trying to mesh this and that and bring it all together for one, you know, cohesive force.
That
Yeah.
is awesome. So you go, your love of words is taking you in front of school children who need to know that it's okay to love words, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
also giving you the opportunity to potentially start a greeting card company.
Yeah. It's something that I've been really thinking about.
Wow.
Today I just got asked to speak at a, not bragging, but just being real with
No,
you.
brag. I love
I got
bragging authors.
I got asked to speak at a commencement ceremony for graduation next month, a high school. So that's,
Come on.
what I'm saying. So that's something that you don't take lightly.
No,
That's an honor.
absolutely.
Um, Especially in today's day and age where it's so many different outlets, and everybody got a brand.
Yeah.
Whether they believe it, whether you think about it or not, and just is evident in Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, and Twitter and TikTok. Everybody is trying to promote themselves. So there's so many different channels and different news feeds that people have, and to be asked to, get in front of a mic and deliver some sort of message, that's
Yeah.
humbling. So that's
It
something
really
I'm,
is,
want to tip
because
the cap to.
I that is amazing, because for them to say, "Hey, LaGuan, we want you to come talk to our exiting students."
Right. So
You're going to give them their final words that's
right.
going to take them, hopefully carry them through the course of their lives. Like, that's truly humbling, and just mind blowing. Seriously
Right.
mind blowing that you have that opportunity. Not that you should not have had it, but to have it. Anybody, I believe, would just be mind blown that they have that opportunity, the honor to speak to kids that are exiting.
Yes, ma'am. I totally agree. Totally agree.
So what is it that, in the midst of writing your books, either first or the second, what are some things that you had to get over, some things you encountered that maybe were like a spot for you to say, "No, I'm giving up," but you kept going?
Well, my first book, actually, the book we're talking about today, Somebody Else, um, is my third book.
Oh,
It's
wow.
actually my children's book. Like I said, it's the latest. My first book, I went through a small publisher called Fulton Books. And the last two, I actually said, you know what? I'm just gonna self-publish it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I think a lot of times, a lot of people, we don't realize what goes into a product behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Once a book gets into your hands, once you see it on a shelf, once you order it off a website, once you see it at a festival or book fair, people don't realize what it took for it to be there, for it to make
Seriously.
it to this venue, this platform. So, dealing with a lot of logistics like formatting and editing, just little things, commonplace things that go into making a book into a finished product for others to consume. Um, Sometimes that task can be daunting,
Yeah.
overwhelming. You have setbacks, little glitches from a technical standpoint that make you just want to say, you know what, let me take the easy way out, or let me postpone this.
Yep.
Um, but really, it's all about forward thinking,
Mhm.
looking ahead to that one kid who is going to glow when they read this book, or that one parent that's going to come to you and say, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was wholesome. This had some weight to it. Or that teacher that, admires the book design, the way it was put together, the color schemes. For people who know you, but then for them to pass it on to other people who don't know you, and then your sphere of influence grows.
Yes.
So just
Yes.
thinking about just thinking about those moments and the potentiality of those type of scenarios, that's what keeps you going. That's what makes you want to see a project, to its end, you know.
And that's important because sometimes you run into those little things like, oh my God, formatting is a beast.
Right.
Okay, it is. So, and it can make you want to, and not just format, I'm just saying that for the sake of conversation, but there are other things, many things that can cause an author to say, you know what, I can't do this. I'm not doing it. I'm frustrated. I'm angry.
Man.
For anyone who's an aspiring author, as you begin to, if once you get into your head to take this journey, you will run up against things that's gonna cause you to, it's not gonna move, it's
Who
not gonna
you
move. But
telling?
you gotta remember why you started and what
Mhm.
you are looking for as an outcome. And let that be what you use to chip away from that roadblock. I'm telling you, it's
It's
gonna
worth it.
happen.
It's
It
worth
will
it.
happen. Hands down, it will happen. But we want to encourage you, as always, to keep going, get your book done. All right.
Mhm.
So I am. All right. So what I want to have you do, since you have your second or third book, is it third one?
Third.
Third book, someone else. Why don't you go ahead
Patrick.
and read from your book for us?
All right. My pleasure. All righty. Let's see. Where are we?
Or tell us about it first.
Okay. That's great. Let's do that first. Let's backtrack so we can go forward.
Yeah.
Somebody else is a book that I wrote for that kid, for that person in all of us that has all these grand ideas about what we want to do. And not necessarily a career, but like you said, as a business aspiration, taking up a new hobby. But we have a certain level of passion for those things. We like these things.
Yeah.
But then as quick as they come to our mind, we shoot down the idea. Why? Be out of fear, out of feeling that we're inadequate or incompetent. And I think that comes from looking at everything with a hypercritical lens. We're supposed to be realistic. But at the same time, sometimes if we take a step back and we are patient with ourselves, gentle with ourselves, encouraging of ourselves, we can start to look at our quote unquote weaknesses as not weaknesses at all, but places where we can start from and build from.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
so the boy or the central character in this book has many interests, wants to do many things, doesn't have a problem with dreaming lofty, but he shoots his ideas down. And it isn't until he takes a deep look within that he starts to say, you know what? Maybe I can do such and such.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not where I want to be, but I can get there quite possibly. So it's really his journey of self-discovery and self-love and being gentle and patient with himself, and really hoping in the power of tomorrow. By realizing where he is and what today could mean in his overall journey, trying, hope, faith, perseverance. So it's kind of like
I just wanted to say this little tidbit. You said he has a abundance of ideas, but he shoots them down.
Right.
It's so as an adult, I put it. I ain't talking about anybody else. As an adult, I have done that many times, and you know what? I always pray, God, I need this. I need this idea to help me do this. Break generational curses, to give me the funds, the finances, the opportunity to take care of my mother and my family. And this idea come, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna work. Who's gonna support that? Who's gonna blah 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 blah. You don't know the idea that comes to your head could be the one that changes not only your lives, but that of those around you and beyond. So
Right on, right on.
yeah, when I was listening to that, I'm like, why is he in my life?
Well, in all of our lives. That's why
Yeah.
I always preface it with, I use a child as the central character, but really I'm speaking to myself. I'm
Yeah.
speaking to Ebony. I'm
Yeah.
speaking to Charles. I'm speaking to Chuck. I'm
Yeah.
speaking of Renaya. You know, I'm
Yeah.
speaking of little Aaliyah.
Yeah.
That person at your job who is, their dreams went stale. Not
Yes.
because they weren't good dreams, not because they weren't achievable dreams, not because they weren't realistic dreams, but because you listen to that voice that said, nah, fall back.
Yep.
Nah, that's too
Yep.
risky.
Yep.
Nah, that ain't never been done. Nah, you don't come from this background. You can't get that loan. You don't got these finances. You got kids. You got college loan debt. You got a car payment. Where can we start?
Right.
Where can we begin? You know, so you know,
Wow.
I'm talking to children. You know, I hate to use the term dumb it down. Let's use the term, I simplified it for a
Yep.
weightier, bigger issue for children to kind of grasp and embrace and comprehend. But really, at the heart of it, at the crux of it, I'm talking to all of us,
Yeah.
because I suffer from fear.
Yeah.
You suffer from fear.
Yep.
You might suffer from self-doubt. Hell,
Yep.
I know I do.
Yeah.
So it's really like a manifesto, a declaration, a love letter to myself as well as to
Oh
you.
wow.
And you know, I presented it in the form of a message for children, but really I'm talking to all of us, period.
I love that. So right before you go ahead and read it, I would say I love that because when we can teach our kids early on how to combat that stuff, when they get older, when it happens, they know immediately the tools and tips and strategies to overcome and not let it bury their
Right,
dreams. And they
it's in
look
here.
back, yep,
It's
and
in
they
here.
look back 20, 30 years after that original dream and wonder what could have been if they themselves didn't kill it. So go ahead, LaGuan, and read a snippet for us.
Okay. This is after he's flirted with that, you know, various idea. He's sitting in his room. I don't know where you can see
Yep,
that.
I can see it. Yep.
Right.
He was on his bed. Yep.
He's sitting in his room in his bed, and he says to himself, I want to be somebody else, but just what am I good at?
Mm.
Well, thinking, wheels are turning. Although I can't do 20 push-ups like a fireman, my mom always calls me to carry the heaviest bags into the house when she returns from her errands. Maybe I am quite strong.
Mhm.
Whenever my little brother Eric runs after his ball in the yard, I am quick enough to catch it before it rolls down the driveway. Maybe I am pretty fast after all. When I bake cakes, they may not be as neat as grandma's, but grandpa always asks for seconds, thirds, and fourths.
Wow.
With practice, maybe I can become a great baker. Talking to new people makes me a little nervous, but once we are friends, I have a lot to talk about. Maybe I do have enough courage to be the president.
Wow.
I think I know who I want to be today. I'm pretty sure I do. I will be somebody who tries. I will be somebody special. Today, I think I'll be me. And tomorrow, and the day after that, too.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you get to look at what we cone? I love it. Okay, so I'm an adult,
Thank
and this
you.
is speaking to me.
I'm pretty sure.
It really is, because
Flattered.
it's like you don't try to be everybody else, just be you. And if you look at
Powerful.
those things that you at one point thought were a weakness, you got to look at them and like, you know what? That's not really a weakness. That's actually a strength.
Right.
And so you
Or at
go
least a
from being a
starting
fast,
point.
right. So even he can be a track star. You can, the president, come on.
It's possible.
All from just
Possible.
speaking it, just from understanding that maybe I can be, or be a great baker. Just grandpa wants seconds, thirds, and fourths. So maybe I am pretty good at this. Like it's all about perception
Mhm.
and how we perceive ourselves and our abilities.
Mhm.
Child, I see why they bring you into schools, because kids need to hear this. They need to know, like, look, I know this may seem like it'll never be, but you got to change your mind because it can.
And I black kids,
Yeah.
all kids, um, but specifically in areas where you don't see people like you in certain roles in certain lines of life. I tell people I'm from a part of town in the city called Central Park. It's on the east side, upper east side of Buffalo, New York. Um, where I grew up. I'm of the streets, but I wasn't in the streets, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know kids who didn't make it. Um, I come from a place where you hear police sirens. Um, Not necessarily two-parent homes. Um, when you went to school, the majority of your educators didn't look like you,
Yeah.
weren't from the same neighborhoods as you. Um, and that still is relevant more now, now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
So to talk to those kids who may come from these places, who may have others saying to them and them internalizing it, where you're hearing messages of, that you can't do that, or that's too lofty, or that dumb down your dream, or minimize yourself, or downscale your expectations of what your future looks like and how expansive it can be. It's something for those kids, to see I'll just tell you a quick story. Sorry to be long-winded, but
That's okay.
um a couple of months ago, um I went into a school that was literally maybe a half mile away from the very house that I grew up in. And to come
Wow.
back there,
Full circle.
I didn't go to that school. I went to a school that was on the other end of my street. It was this two street, the street that I grew up on, is bookended by two schools. I actually ended up going to the other school. But the school that I was asked to come and talk to students, it was like surreal because, you know, 35 years ago, that would have been me sitting in that very seat.
Yep.
So to see somebody come from that neighborhood and to be able to tell them kids like, yo, I grew up a half a mile away from here, if
Literally
not
down the
closer,
street.
down the street. So to be able to impart you know, small life lessons, provide them with examples, and to add a little color to their world in the form of words and pictures, that was a delight. You want to say what keeps you going? It's looking forward to the possibility of something like that occurring. You
Yeah.
never know who you're gonna network with, who you're gonna see, what arenas you're gonna be placed in. So once again, I go back to that. I harp on that. Building relationships through creativity. That's what get me up in the morning, you know?
And that, if that is the only thing that gets you up, that is more than enough. Because it will definitely keep you going throughout the day as well. Because you're knowing, like the stories that I write and share are gonna have an impact on a kid, and they may not even recognize it today,
Mhm.
but at some point in their life, it's gonna come back full circle, and they're gonna say, "Mr. LaGuan, I remember he came in and read his book, and
Mhm.
that inspired me because now I could say." that was a weakness, but now I know it's not, it's a strength. And I'm going to capitalize on that strength and how to not self-doubt, or when it does come up, because self-doubt is not something we just do. It just happens.
Happen.
So that self-doubt comes up and I'm like, I know what that is. I can recognize it, cut it out, chop it off, and keep going. What is something, because we're almost finished here, but what is something you would say to an inspiring author of various ages to keep them motivated? Because we know what keeps you motivated. What would you say for them?
If you have a story, a message, an idea, a mood that you would like to convey, if it's something that really sticks in your being, if it gives you joy, just do it. I say, like, the first thing about writing, I'm also a long distance runner. People say, how can you run so and so many miles? I started by running.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. And you know what? Chop away at it. Yeah. Think of the writing journey, and it's never really complete. It never is, because I'm talking to you, but I'm really talking to myself, because there's days where I feel like, oh man, how am I gonna write this? How am I gonna write that? But you really gotta look at it. It's an axe. You chopping away at a thick, tall tree, day by day, clicking at it, you know, putting that blade into the wood, and sooner or later you're gonna be able to yell timber in the form of a book, you know. So you just got to start, and
I love that.
Set. I don't know what everybody's life is, you know. I know people have children, people have, you know, college students, people work full time, people may have like a disability, people may be a caregiver to an aging loved one. So everybody's situation is different. So wherever you are in your life, wherever you are in your daily journey, try to set a realistic goal. My realistic goal may totally different from yours. And what I mean by a realistic goal is, if you can't sit and be like Gabriel Garcia Marquez and sit in your study and write 8 hours a day, write 15 minutes.
There you go.
Start with a journal. If you could do 15 minutes, hold fast to that for X amount of weeks, or X amount of days, or X amount of, you know, months, and build from there. Chop away at it daily. And when you create something, realize you're releasing your baby to be cared and to be looked over by others. So have a strong team that'll give it to you straight.
Yeah.
Not everything that I write is good. Not everything that I write is worthy to be published, or even worthy to be seen. I keep a journal that I jotted. Some of those ideas will never come to light, and that's done purposely. It's my ideas, it's my feelings, my emotions. So be receptive to constructive criticism. And really, you know, like I said, just start, set goals for yourself. And really, the thing that's going to carry you through is just that burning desire to connect with somebody, or some group. So really, in a nutshell, just start. If you want to write, start writing. Anything that you feel about. And, you know, I had an old creative writing teacher that told me, and it's something that stuck with me 20 plus years later. I had a professor by the name of Bill Shue, and he told me, or told a group of students rather, the best writing is honest writing.
The best writing is honest writing.
Yeah. So.
Wow. What does he mean by that?
I think, number one, you have to write something that you know about, or at least have a desire to learn more about.
Yeah.
You have to be committed to what you're writing, and it has to be believable. Not from the standpoint that it actually had to happen in real life, but that some kind of way people can relate to it. Even if it's a story about magical realism, where you know a unicorn isn't going to fly through your window tonight, but could you present it in a way where if it did happen, how would people respond to it?
Yeah.
What is the world? What is the world in which these things took place? Um, you know, you don't have to be the most elaborate sentence, you
Yeah.
know, it doesn't have to be that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a good sentence with a nice subject, the periods and punctuation in the right places, um, you can do a lot of damage with those little things in their right place.
I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna sign off. And I want you something else. I want you to think about. You need to teach a class yourself on fictional writing.
I'm open to that. I'm open to
And
that.
I teach people how to write memoirs.
Oh,
So I would ask you, encourage you to take this year, put together a program, lay it all out. You can do it virtually or in person. Create a workbook or something like that for them. Slap a price on it. Find a location to have it and do it. You have a
I
wealth
like
of knowledge.
I like the way you think. And see, like I said, we feed in each other.
Yeah.
I've been put in these situations where I'm learning a lot of things that's out here for lanes and avenues for
Mm-hmm.
authors to you know to expand and grow
Yeah.
and spread seeds. So I'm thankful. Like they say, iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. Because you
So
got it. You can definitely do it. Like, just, hey, this is how you do it from start to finish. Just how you craft your idea, just like lay it out, character development, all that other good stuff.
right,
Do it for children's books.
right, right. And I'm
So,
working on some other stuff here for this summer.
all right, well, keep us in. Look, you gotta stay connected with us, okay? We have your Instagram, so we'll certainly be connected with you and following you. So when you start to launch stuff, tag us in it, because with the
We'll do.
algorithm, we don't see everything, unfortunately.
Right.
So make sure if you want us to see it, make sure you tag us in it.
I'll definitely
And that goes for anybody else. If you want to see it, tag us in it. Otherwise, we may miss it.
yeah. So people, somebody else available through Barnes and Noble's website, Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It actually is available at a local Rochester bookstore, Cerebral Kingdom.
Yeah, on State Street. Okay.
Yes, it's there. It's available in hardcover, paperback. Like I said, follow me at LG the Royal on Instagram, at LaGuan Rodgers on Twitter. You can find me on Linktree at LaGuan Rodgers, medium.com. I have essays, so you can find more of my thoughts and contributions there. And
That's what's up.
I'm thankful. I'm humbled. Thank you for having me tonight.
You
I'm
are
truly
very
appreciative.
welcome. And I am so excited you have joined us and graced us with your presence. And
Thank
I
you.
personally look forward to seeing what else comes out of this head. I'm personally looking forward to seeing what happens, what else comes out of your head, and that you can share with the world. So everyone, he told you how to connect with him. Make sure you do. We'll absolutely share his information on all our social media platforms. But that is all we have for the evening, you guys. Again, I love to rock out with authors. Yes, it's called the Black Authors Rock Podcast, but Black, white, whatever, it does not matter. If you are an author, you want to come on and chat with me, go to my website or our website, rockbaa.org, and register. Nothing you got to pay for. It's all free. We just love what we do. We are a 501c3, so we do ask for a small donation. If you can, you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. Click submit and you'll talk to me. Follow us on Facebook at Rock BAA 2015, on Instagram, rock_BAA, and on YouTube, which is the Rochester Black Authors Association. When you see this video, if you have time, make sure you join us on June 4th here in Rochester, New York for the 6th annual Rochester Black Authors Expo. We have authors coming in from New Orleans, Chicago, I forget where, Cincinnati, Ohio, one lady from San Diego, California, authors from Rochester, as well as I forget where ladies coming from Milwaukee. We have 14 authors that will be here on that afternoon. We want you all to come and check us out. Follow us on all social media platforms for more information and details. So until then, you guys, I am Ebony Nicole, the Vice President of the Rochester Black Authors Association, and it was my honor, my pleasure to have you here with us today. See you next time.